So we're about to assemble the shelf for above the laundry / utility room sink. And what I've done here is I've cut two pieces of 1/2-inch particle core to 12 inches by 60.5, and then it'll have to be trimmed on site, and then a couple of spacers to make it a floating shelf. And we're going to glue these pieces on and then assemble it, and then we're going to laminate it with some laminate that we've got left over to match the countertop. So we've got just enough to do one side. I'm going to make the top white, and nobody will see that, and it'll look okay. So we're at the other shop, my main shop, which we're going to be moving to the property eventually. And this is my Cassaday 10-foot sliding panel saw. Big workhorse around here, totally automated, which makes it a little bit easier to get at more accurate cuts. So now the floating shelf is now stapled together and glued, and we're going to start laminating the pieces. So the way I've designed this is I have to make little cleats for the walls that'll fit into that groove there. So it's about 5/8 of an inch. We make them just a hair smaller that I can get a bit of glue in there and it can slide in a bit easy. So that groove goes all the way around the back and then on the other side as well. So I'll have 3 cleats that I'll screw to the wall, and then that should slide in place after I've trimmed it down to fit. So now both sides are on, and just gonna clean up the edge. The excess glue comes off pretty easy with a bit of lacquer thinner, and then we're good to go. So it turned out pretty good. And just a bit of a recap, we've got a 12 by 60.5. That's the white side that's going to be up. It's a high gloss laminate. It had one of the features that I really like about it. It's free. And the front edge and the bottom will match the countertop. So the way we get this done is, you've seen how we glue it. And my first trim is with a 1/2-inch flush cutting bit. I have a whole bunch of 1/2-inch by 1-inch flush cutting bits. That gets it close. And then I go afterwards with a 15-degree bevel, which will make it easier to file. It'll get it real close to where the two laminates meet. And then we just use a laminate file. And I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if it comes into focus here. All the teeth are biased one way, so it files laminate really nice. And I buy these just for laminate work. And the Richardson laminate file it's called, and then we get a nice clean, I don't know if you can see that, a nice black line. Otherwise it would be rough looking grayish, but with the laminate file it just blackens that line right up, gives it a good clean crisp look. So I'll bring this home now, and we'll put the cleats on the wall, fit it, and get it in, and we'll see that next. Now we've got the fireplace running in the basement. So hot I had to take my sweater off, and I bought this little thermometer that's meant for making sure that you're running at the right temperature, and it's running at about close to 500 degrees. I just put some new wood in, and so that should jump up to about 600. This little fireplace kicks off an awful lot of heat, too much for one small room. Anyway, we picked today to put the shelf up, the laminated shelf, over the sink project from previous. So we've emptied the shelf. I've taken the metal bracket down, and I'm about to take the cleats off the wall and take the shelf out and put the new cleats up in the laminated shelf. So we'll do that next. So the shelf slid in nicely on the cleats that we put on. Glue has to set. All I did was put a little bit of a bead of white glue on the top edge of the cleats. That'll be enough to hold it in. Most of the strength is in the cleats screwed into anchors and into the 2x4s anyway. And the structure of the shelf itself, so nice and tight on the left, pretty level all the way across, to nice and tight on the right. Gaps underneath, pretty good. Again, all going to be covered with tile, so that's going to be the next step. And going to have to figure out a square footage of tile, get some Schluter, and that'll be the next step in the process. So 20 minutes, half an hour later, and the stove is running at close to 500 and a bit. It was up over 600 after I put the logs in, and the logs have died down a little bit, and this really kicks out a lot of heat, and I'm actually had to take my sweater off. That's how warm it got down here. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll catch you on the next video.